Welcome to InnerGLOW, the podcast that helps you to ditch anxiety, judgment, stress, and self-doubt, and instead embody ease, confidence, flow, abundance, and self-love. I'm your host, Bhavna Meg, mindset and energy coach, and founder of Stepping Into You. I work with individuals just like you on emotional, mental, and energetic levels to help you to fall in love with yourself and glow from the inside out. This is episode 18, Plans Give You Hope. Today we'll explore the difference between being in the present moment versus making plans for the future, and why it's important to make plans for the future and dream about things that it is that we desire. As always, listen all the way to the end to learn about how to supercharge your creations and planning and move into and towards your desires with more flow and more ease. We've talked a lot about being in the present moment and why it's important to be in the present moment, to be able to really be in appreciation of life itself. And when we come back into the present moment, how we let go of worries, anxieties, stresses, because we're just experiencing moment by moment what is happening to us, within us, and around us. And this is fantastic, but I often get asked, well, how can I stay in the present moment and be planning for my future? And equally, I get asked, well, you keep on telling me to be in the present moment, and yet you're telling me to plan for the future and plan what actions I should take today and tomorrow and next month. How is that being in the present moment? Let's tackle both of those questions one at a time. Firstly, let's start with, well, you keep telling me to be in the present moment, and now you want me to do planning and creation. How can I be doing both and staying in the present moment at the same time? I'm sure you've all heard of the saying, fail to plan, plan to fail. This is a very common saying in the project management, leadership, any kind of planning in the corporate space, certainly. It's very, very well known. Well, what if we spun it a little bit? Fail to dream and dream to fail. Now, I know that doesn't quite ring as cleverly as plan to fail to plan and plan to fail, but it has a different energy to it. So when we stop dreaming about what might exist, what could be, we limit our ability to create. We limit our ability to attract into our world something grander than what we currently have. We limit our ability to rise into a frequency that is more connected to and more in alignment with something even greater than what it is that we're currently experiencing. Now, that is not to say we are not happy with the current experience that we have, and we are not experiencing joy and love. But there's always more in life to experience, and to settle for exactly the same every single day, we've stopped living. We are simply existing. And some might even say when you stop growing, when you stop learning, when you stop expanding yourself, you are in fact dying. So what does it mean to dream? What does it mean to plan for the future? What does it mean to create? How exactly do you go about doing it without becoming consumed and staying in this future state? That in itself requires a little bit of discipline. Or when you feel that there is an urge within you to sit down and take some notes, when you have had a dream perhaps that's giving you some indication as to something that is coming, something that you need to create, when you've reached a point in your business where there is a little bit of stagnation, or perhaps you're in a good flow and there's an opportunity to grow even more. For me, I love to sit down in between that lovely Christmas, New Year's break and spend some time with myself to really feel into what it is that I want to create in the following year. Now, these are not New Year's resolutions. These are opportunities for me to tune into the energy of what that dream might look like. I write things down, I draw pictures, and I sit in meditation with all of that. And then the most important thing, which is what allows us to come back into that present moment, is to surrender it. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't take any action towards those things. When we take action, we move our body, our subconscious mind, our conscious mind, our whole being towards the direction that we want to be heading, when we've really felt into and sensed what those dreams feel like within our physiology, it makes it easier for us to move towards them. But taking action is, at the conscious level, is what is required to do that and to really pull the energy of that dream towards you. So as I just mentioned, I've got a number of things that I do when I'm in this creation dreaming process. I'm writing things down, so articulating what it is that I'll see, what it is that I'll hear, what it is that I'll feel when I have this thing in my life. And then I draw, because imagery is so powerful for us as humans. Imagery helps us to remember things more easily. And the beautiful saying that a picture paints 1,000 words is so true when we can look at something, look at an image, and we know everything that it means. All of the information that is attached to it is very, very clear to us within that one image. And also, it's something that you can carry around with you more easily. It's something that you can put up on your desk without feeling like somebody else might get into your head or be nosy or be in your mind about some of the things that you want to create in your world. The next step becomes a little bit more practical. It's actually starting to plan a little bit about what I want to be doing each month for the next 6 months, so that I can be constantly moving towards and attracting my creations towards me. I use a 6-month planner and I use my daily success planner to help me and keep me focused and keep my energy connected to where it is that I want to be going. It can be so easy to become distracted with something and potentially be distracted with nothing, particularly if you are a procrastinator, which sometimes I very much am. Using those tools really helps to keep me on track and keeps me motivated. And at the end of the day, at the end of the week, when I've accomplished things, I feel fabulous and I feel like I am so much more in alignment with the life that I'm creating than procrastinating and staying exactly where I am. Again, caveat, that is not to say we are not happy, we are not joyful, and we are not grateful for where we are right now. Before we continue with the next part of the show, if what I've shared with you today is resonating with you, leave a review. It goes a long way to help share the love with others who are going through the same things and would benefit from the tips and tools to turn on their inner glow. Another way to share the love is by making a donation at patreon.com/steppingintoyou to share your love with me and with others. Okay, so the flip side of the question was, well, how can I be planning and then also be in the present moment? There's not too much difference here. The key is that we are spending specific amounts of time. So as I said, I love to spend a day, probably maybe two, in between in that Christmas and New Year's period, to really sit down and think about and feel into what it is that I want to create for that year. I've done a little bit of dreaming and putting those words and pictures down. I'll use my 6-month planner to start really writing down what it is that I need to do over the next 6 months to move myself forward towards those creations. The 6-month planner over the last few years has tended to be a little bit more business orientated. Also really mindful to put in things that are big life goals for me. So for a little while, I was looking to buy property, and I made sure that I had actions in my 6-month planner and then translated into my daily success planner that included activities that were aligned to my seeking and then buying a property. One of my favorite things to do on a day-to-day basis in my planner is to have at least one action that makes my day amazing, a really personal one. So I often find myself that I'm as a business owner and working as well, that most of my goals can tend to be very easily things that I want to and need to do within the business. But I've become much more conscious to add in little practices and little actions that allow me to do things or remind me to do things that are for me and the rest of my life, because I'm not just my business. So coming back to the question, how do you do planning and not get stuck there and not be all consumed by the future and not be able to come back into the present moment? It's by applying some sort of consistency and discipline, and I love to call it ritual, because everything in your life, when it becomes a ritual, it has so much more magic around it. So having a ritual of when you will do your daily planning and action setting, having a ritual for when you'll do and sit down and do your 6-month planning and review, this all helps to allow you to do the planning and then come back into the present moment. And I have to say, I have to admit that doing all of this planning, which can seem a little bit overwhelming, I've been a project manager in the corporate world and managed massive projects very successfully and delivered projects to other clients and businesses very successfully, on time, on budget, at quality. And I always used to struggle to do that for myself. I would always let myself off for not achieving the things that I said I would or thought I would or committed to doing. I just let myself off. Not holding any guilt around it, because who does guilt serve? But it became too much of a habit. I was procrastinating more often than I was doing anything. And part of that was a little bit around perfectionism and some beliefs that I had around perfectionism, but not taking action and not moving forward, and then wondering, why isn't anything changing? Why is my business still look like this? Why haven't I got more clients? Why am I still doing the same kind of work that I was doing 3 years ago? Wondering all of those things and really not taking personal accountability for my own actions and setting myself and holding myself accountable for what it is that I needed to do at a conscious level in a physical way to move towards those creations, to those desires. And it's this planning, it's this 6-month planning, it's this daily ritual that I have in writing down what it is that I want to achieve every single day in alignment with what it is that I've said that I want to achieve every single month to move me towards bigger and better things and more in alignment with my dreams and aspirations than I currently am now, because I know there's more for me. And when we can hold in our hearts that there is always more, there's always more expansion, there's always more growth, we can truly tap into what that is and then take steps towards it. And this is not about those big ass action steps. This is baby steps. What one little thing can we do every single day to create momentum, energetic momentum, physical momentum towards those dreams, towards those desires, towards what it is that we want to experience in our life in 5 years' time and in 10 years' time. I've already given you some ideas and suggestions around how you can have this planning practice to give you a little bit of extra energy, to light your fire, to give you hope for something that is bigger than and greater than and more expansive and loving than what we currently have. Again, reminder, that does not mean we are not happy right now, we are not in joy, we are not in gratitude. It's really important that we're not focused on the destination to receive that. Every moment now is about gratitude, about love, about being present and about being happy. And that's so, so, so important that we can feel into that for ourselves now. The journey is so important. Okay, so find yourself and schedule into your phone, into your calendar, a day where you would like to spend with yourself to dream. And if you are a big dreamer and you've got lots and lots of big goals, that's beautiful. That's amazing. Give yourself an extra day. Give yourself an extra day to really feel into those. So set some time aside for you, with you, to do this, because this is about your own personal journey and your own personal expansion. And we give so much to other people when we don't give it enough to ourselves. So lock in some time for you so that nobody else can take that or put appointments in. That bit is really important. Next, using one piece of paper, so you can grab a notebook or a plain piece of paper, and one piece of paper, one sheet per goal, one sheet per dream. And on that piece of paper, write down what that dream is and be really specific on these next bits. What it is that you'll see, what it is that you'll hear yourself saying to yourself and other people saying to you, and what it is that you will feel when you have got this thing, when you are living your goal, living your dream. Now, the added bonus is the drawing. If you're not a great drawer, that's okay. You don't have to be. It's just putting something on a piece of paper and making it artistic. Maybe you just want to give your goal a little symbol so that you can put it somewhere as a reminder. Again, like I said, without having to do all of those answering questions about what does that mean and why do you want that, and it keeps it a little bit private and you can share if you want to. And then the next step is to start planning what actions you need to take. Now, I love calling these activation steps because we're activating our whole being towards that goal. And these are little baby steps. So think about what you can do, little tiny steps that you can take in the next 7 days to create momentum towards your dream. Now, if you're interested in getting some worksheets and tools to help you to do this even more efficiently, with even more fun and flow, get in touch with me. Drop me an email to order a 6-month planner, a goal setting worksheet, and even the daily success planner. That's all for today. I look forward to hearing your stories about your planning efforts and creating your dreams. Join me next week for episode 19, Wearing Your Emotions on Your Sleeve. Thanks for joining me today, and be sure to subscribe at steppingintoyou.com/InnerGLOW so you don't miss any glowing possibilities. And if you'd love to support InnerGLOW, you can make a donation at patreon.com/InnerGLOW. Sending you love, hugs, and magic.